Hi, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Donna, and today we are making a shutter card. So we're starting with a piece of cardstock which is 20 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters. As well, that will be our card base. We're also going to need these two black pieces of cardstock for a shutter card. All the measurements will be underneath, so we won't stress too much about that now. So you can see that what I'm doing is just drawing from diagonally from corner to corner to find the center mark for both of those pieces of black cardstock. Then you'll just need to score in about 1 centimeter from one edge. So this is on the long side, so about 1 inch in from one edge. Perfect. So we've marked it in the center before we scored it, and then we scored it. So now what we're going to do is on the other edge that hasn't been scored and folded over, we're going to use the cross that we put in there as a guide to cut out effectively, I guess, a fishtail from the edge. Now you can see that both these pieces will now fit in together nicely. So on our piece of cardstock, we are measuring in 5 centimeters from each end and folding that into the center to create a gatefold card. So quite simply, whatever measurement you have, you divide it into 4 of the width of your card, and then you fold the 2, and that's where you score and fold the 2 in. Now I'm just creating the inside piece. You can see that there, and I am placing a piece of pattern paper on another separate piece of cardstock. Now you'll see later that I made a bit of a muck up with this, but we were able to fix it. So my designer paper or my pattern paper is actually just a little bit smaller than the card, so you can see that pretty edge all the way around. Not that it matters a great deal, and I'll be cutting some of that off later. So I'm just using one of my nesting circles. This is about 5 centimeters or 2 inches across, and I'm just deciding where on my card I want my shutter to be, and I really just want it in the center because I think that it makes a nice impact when you open up the card. I've run that through my die cutting machine, and now using that, just popping that in position and drawing a circle around it to use it as a guide for where I'm going to place my shutter pieces, as well as what I'm taking a photo of later. So I'm just grabbing my double-sided tape and putting it on the 1 centimeter part that was folded over, that we scored and folded before. So it's a really good idea to use a fairly strong double-sided tape. For me, this is a great double-sided tape, and I also put some of the glue on top of that as well, some of that Smart Art glue, to really make sure that it stays stable and in place. This will be opened a lot of times. Whoever gets it is going to want to play with it. It's just the way things go. So I'm positioning that, moving that a little bit in, about 1 or 2 in from the edge of the fold. So you'll be able to see on this one, I'll remove the backing tape, put on some of the glue, and just take note of where I position it because it's just in a little bit. Can you see from the fold? I line that up there, and you can see that there's a gap there, and it's even at the top and the bottom with the other shutter. And then close that side of my gatefold card, and there we are. Look at that, beautiful. That worked very well. So now let's open up those shutters for a moment. We can still see our circle guide there, and I'm going to use that so I know where to position my little animal that I'm going to put in the center. So these pieces were actually cut out of the same pad of pattern paper, but a different piece. Well, just can't really tell that it's a whale. The giraffe was too tall. These, as I said, these are just fussy cut pieces from part of the pattern paper. Look, that elephant fits beautifully. So we'll just glue that elephant down there. Of course, you can put anything in there. You can stamp something, color it in, whatever you would like to do. And here's where I ran into a bit of a problem. I must have read the measurements incorrectly, and that is too wide, and my card doesn't close. I left this in there specifically to show you that it's okay. We all, fumble sometimes, and we've got to work out how to fix it. So all I'm going to do is trim that down either side. It does mean I'll lose that little bit of a wide edge, but that is not going to matter at all. In actual fact, you could make that patterned paper exactly the same size as the card if you wish. The pattern paper on its own is not going to be strong enough. It does need to be on card, but there we go. So now let's just make sure that that works and we have a winner. See, easy fixed. Now I'm just going to put some foam tape at the top and the bottom of this piece that'll go in the center of the card. I do like this tape. We can't get it anymore, but it's quite fine. It's only like 1 mil thick, which is great, perfect for this. I'll keep my eye out, see if I can find a replacement somewhere. As soon as I do, I'll let you all know. So I'm just positioning that in the center of the card, and there's our shutter in action. How wonderful is that? So a little bit more of the pattern paper, we're just popping that on the front on either side of the gatefold card to finish that off. Once again, how you decorate is totally up to you, and I've used the pattern paper here because I have so much of it. I'm sure we're all the same, and I'm just trying to use up as much as I can. Now I've grabbed a balloon that I die cut out with an old die set that I've got. It's definitely good to use whatever's in your stash, but this doesn't have to be a balloon. It could be, you know, a party hat or a piece of banner or whatever. You can see I did put too much glue on there, realized my error before I stuck it down and stuck the two sides together, thank goodness. But I'm putting that side on firmly, and it is glued right to the very edge there. Tidy that up a little bit too where I put that extra glue. Now for the other balloon, I'm going to sit that on top, but I'm only going to glue around the edge that is going to glue onto the card. So the blue card will fit between the card base, you know, the gatefold part there, and that red balloon, and so that will act like a little closing mechanism. I just had that hooked up there, so I needed to make sure the glue wasn't going to go too far. Inside I have used the red cardstock with a couple of the circles, the nesting circles, to make a frame to go around the center, just to help finish that up. Sorry about my head in the way there. Wanted to get over that and make sure it was nice and neat. And now I am going to stick a red happy birthday on a blue happy birthday. So I just cut these out using a die and am joining that. Once again, I will put a link to everything that I can down the bottom. You know, if you like any of the products, it'll make it easy for you to find. I'm just gluing that happy birthday on one side of my card because, once again, we want to make sure we don't glue it closed because that would defeat the purpose, of course. And ta-da, we've got our shutter card. So a lovely card project, nice and simple. I have a lot of fun making this, and others like it. So you don't have to just make it for little kids. It's nice as a wedding one with, say, 2 rings on the front, or you know, anything, flowers for a Mother's Day. It's just a fun card to make. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked the project, and I would love you to subscribe, and thanks. Bye.